Hey guys, this is Joe. Today I want to introduce you to our partner Vanta. Achieving ISO 27001 or SOC 2 compliance can unlock major growth for your company and build customer trust, but the process can be time intense and costly. Vanta automates compliance, getting your audit ready quickly and saving up to 85% of associated costs. And Vanta scales with your business, helping you enter new markets. Join 7,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora that trust Vanta. Claim 20% off Vanta at vanta.com/startupradio. That's vanta.com, spelled vanta.com/startupradio.
Welcome to Startuprad.io, your podcast and YouTube blog covering the German startup scene with news, interviews, and live events.
Hello and grüezi everybody. This is Joe from Startuprad.io, your startup podcast and YouTube blog from Germany. Today I have a Swiss-German guest, and instead of hello, there is grüezi. Grüezi Davide, how you doing?
Hi there, Jörn. I'm doing fine, and you?
Doing great, thank you. Today I invited you because you're the co-founder of the startup Cyreen, headquartered in Hessen, in lovely Wiesbaden. And since this podcast is sponsored by Invest in Hessen, of course, we'll talk a little bit about the state for everybody who's a new subscriber. Hessen is one of the 16 states of Germany. Sometimes jokingly, Mallorca, due to the large German population there, is called the 17th state, but don't get fooled there. We only have 16. That said, welcome. I've been stalking you a little bit on LinkedIn, as I usually do with my guests. And it turns out you've been a pretty classic guy working in a Swiss bank. How did you end up providing analytics for physical shopping carts?
Yeah, basically, I think every Swiss once has to go to a bank. No. Well, basically, yeah, it started off with a bank. I wanted to, as I wanted to study business, and I ended up studying business. I wanted to see whether the banking world is something for me. It ended up not to be something of interest, but how did I come to sort of become a retail analytics expert, and how did Cyreen come about? Basically, it all started off with my personal interest to found a startup. I really wanted to found a startup at some point. I did it after my bachelor with some co-founders that I got to know really well, but we fucked it up majorly because we sort of miscalculated the greediness of certain partners and the negotiation powers of certain partners. So we failed there, and then we said, okay, let's continue our education. Then I started to do a master's degree, and one of it being entrepreneurship. So I really wanted to know what is this all about. Where I went to Rotterdam, and in Rotterdam I got to know my co-founders for Cyreen. We sort of we stumbled upon the idea. So we did not create the idea or the core foundation of Cyreen. We sort of discovered it as we met Herbert, and Herbert is sort of the inventor of the core concept of Cyreen, and we sort of got infected, or I got infected by the idea while I was doing my master's, and I couldn't get it out of my head. And then we sort of, for the first half a year, we sort of tried to find the perfect market for it, try to find the perfect fit. And as I knew marketing, online marketing, and my co-founders as well, because they've also founded startups in the online segment. And this is why we sort of came across this offline marketing idea that we really wanted to push forward. And yeah, this is how it came about initially. So all my background, I really wanted to do something myself. And then I discovered the perfect opportunity, and then I went for it.
Let's back up a little bit. I've heard nice things about Rotterdam. Many people know it for the harbor. Can you tell us a lot of nice things about the city?
Well, basically, I haven't been to Rotterdam before. I studied there, and then I really fell in love with the city. So the harbor is obviously as big as the city itself, but you don't necessarily see it the whole time. You just see the huge ships passing you from the river. And then at the university, it's a university town. It has the lovely Dutch people. They're super friendly, super open-minded. Also, my co-students, as everybody wanted to study entrepreneurship, everybody was really open-minded when it comes to juggling new ideas. The city itself, lovely food, not necessarily the Dutch food in itself, because this is sort of it's snacks and fast food, but I have to say they can cook really, really well when it comes to urban kitchen. So I can really recommend it. It's also really close to Amsterdam. It's like half an hour if you want to jump to the city central. And yeah, it's perfect. I really like it. I can go there and have some bitterballen and some olijfolie in the winter and enjoy the Dutch weather.
Well, Dutch weather is not necessarily worse than the German weather or the British weather. That said, you've been talking about you screwed up one startup. What did you do and what went wrong? And especially important, what did you learn from there?
Well, we basically were in Switzerland. So the startup was founded in Switzerland, and we really wanted to tap into the market that the Swiss love to commute. And we sort of saw the idea or a similar idea in the US already, which is ClassPass. So we sort of wanted to introduce a Bahncard 100, so a card where you can you go unlimited and use something with unlimited power. And we wanted to introduce it for the fitness community because in Switzerland we didn't have it. We did have a lot of small chains, fitness chains, but if you commuted from one city to the other, you basically could not do sports in the other city. So we said like, okay, we want to introduce this in Switzerland, but we said also, this has already been done. So someone has already come up with this idea. So we sort of became a franchisee. So we founded a company and licensed the idea or the brand from a Dutch, from in the Netherlands. And then we sort of fucked it up because we had an agreement with them. We were really successful in acquiring gyms and we wanted to go live with the customer side. But then they became really greedy and sort of tried to renegotiate the whole contract of using their brand. And then we said, like, this is not a lucrative business anymore. And so we backed out. It was a hard decision, long nights. We looked each other deep in the eye and said, like, okay, are we really going to finish? Are we going to, this whole year, do we say, okay, we cut it off? And we said, like, yes, we do, because it's the right way to do. We wanted to be flexible. We wanted to be self-sufficient. We want to do our own thing. And this is the learning out of it. So you sort of, in the beginning, you can really go for it. You can trust each other. But at some point, you also have to write stuff down and get the legal framework before it hits the, like, before it actually seems to be successful as well. So you sort of, yeah, you have to do the groundwork.
Let me back off once again a little bit. You know, if there's no detours, it's not Startuprad.io. We are right now, as we record this in the morning of the 16th of September, we are in the podcast charts of Germany, Indonesia, and Singapore. And I feel the need to explain to all people not from Germany what Bahncard 100 actually means, because it's a typical, every German knows it, but outside of Germany, there may be some cultural references missing. So basically, Die Bahn is the German railway operator, former monopolist Deutsche Bahn, and you can basically buy frequent customers discount cards. They're called Bahncard. And if you buy a Bahncard 25, you get a 25% discount for 1 year. If you buy 50, you get 50% discount. And if you buy 100, you can basically hop on any train you want and use everything for free. I do believe it's in the area of several thousand euros a year, this Bahncard. That said, okay. You learned something about not renegotiating contracts when you first settled for one. That's fine. And I'm a little bit curious. Did your franchisee giver, the American company that wanted to renegotiate the contract, did they actually succeed in terms of getting a toehold in Europe after you guys said no way?
Well, basically, for us, our franchisor was a Dutch company. They still exist, so they are sort of operating. They're not operating in Switzerland, which is a pity. But they are operating in the Netherlands, in Germany. They were actually bought by a German company now. So in Germany, there are many startups. It's a rocket internet startup that does something similar. It's another startup that does something similar. They're like 5 to 6 years old now. So yeah, they're still operating, but I think there's a growing competition as well with basically here in Germany we have Fitness First, which is just huge, or McFit, which is huge, which has chains all over the country. So also in Switzerland it started to have a lot of fitness chains where you have different locations. So we wanted to tap into the first mover advantage, but now it's basically gone in Switzerland. But yeah, I learned basically not only renegotiating contracts, it's also you can be really successful if you just go for it. So we learned, okay, we can convince the fitness chains, we can convince customers, which was really, really nice. So the first time you're like, doing something on your own idea and how you want to apply it. So this was the thing I got positively out of it, because I wanted to do it again. And for me, it was about the idea, but it also was about the people executing the idea. And that's why sort of in Rotterdam, I got to know these two guys that were as driven as I was when it came to entrepreneurship, but also grounded in sort of this operational aspect. So they really wanted to execute on an idea really, really well. I think this is also something in Germany we're really good at. So we have an idea and we really execute it really, really well. And this is why we sort of, when we came across the idea of Cyreen or the core idea of Cyreen, we said like, okay, we can find a nice market for this. So we found a really, really nice market, and we found a really nice business model behind it. So we sort of had the technological aspects covered when we came across it, and then we just had to develop the rest. And this is how we came about it. Well, all happened next to our masters. So the first year was basically studying went down, startup went up, and you started to choose your curriculum according to what helps your startup and not what helps in understanding. While my co-founders studying accounting and finance, so they really just went for the venture capital aspect and the business plan aspect and not anything else anymore. And I went more into the legal aspects of founding a startup. So it was really nice to use the education to directly apply it to your own company.
Ha! First time you feel money not wasted. Okay, but to take everybody on board here with our podcast, let me try to understand one more time how you actually bumped into the idea. Did you drive your shopping cart through Rewe, which is a big retailer here in Germany, and said, "Oh damn, I wish I would have analytics for that"? How did this happen?
Yeah, well, basically, to be honest, one of my co-founders was my flatmate. So we lived together in Rotterdam, and he came across Herbert, and they sort of talked about this idea of Cyreen, and he sort of got infected first. You have to imagine he was then really hyped, and he was like, "Okay, Davide, I have to get you on board as well." And he was nagging me the whole time to also meet him and meet up with him, and then we sort of met up as well, and we met up in our apartment on the couch and discussed the whole aspects, and I invested several months into also looking into the markets as well. And at some point, I believe it was January or February, we all said like, okay, let's go for it. We really want to go do it because we had then like the senior aspect in our team with Herbert, and the younger, more driven aspect with Ben Cyril and I. And we said like, okay, this is a nice team constellation because we have sort of the expertise on the one side, and we have this naivety and like the dynamic power to sort of do it. And to be honest, why did it become a company that does retail analytics in supermarkets? For me, I did not have that much to do with retail before I came across this idea, but I had a lot to do with marketing, and I had a lot to do with like structuring marketing campaigns as I worked for an agency, as I did it for the startup before, and we sort of saw that there is a need in the offline segment. What do I mean with offline? So everything that's not Google, Facebook, and co. So banners, TV, radio. There's something to do in marketing offline to make it more transparent, to make it more analytical. And we sort of defined the supermarket as the last moment of truth. So where a shopper takes the last decision, because when you go into a store, you normally say like, okay, I want to buy pasta or I want to buy a sauce and stuff like this, but you don't know exactly what you want to have. And we said like, okay, we're gonna introduce a marketing channel to the supermarket to first of all give an inspirational advertisement and then analyze how effective it was. But I will explain this a little later how it exactly works. But this is where I come from. So I come rather from the online marketing segment where I knew this is already possible, and I discovered that it's not possible offline, and I wanted to change that.
I see. First, another cultural reference, because you're always talking about Herbert, which is a German first name. It is one of your co-founders. We may add this for everybody. Secondly, I've been thinking, and since I started Startuprad.io more than 5 years ago, I always, or let's say I frequently talk to marketing people who want to do this with me, that with me, this with me, that with me. And actually, not to mention that it's quite tiresome because they always back out. But on the other hand, they seem to be totally reliant, totally overconfident on some KPIs when you dig down deeper that are actually just some numbers. Somebody says, let's do something like this, and they completely and utterly trust this. Do you think marketing, don't get me wrong, there's great use of KPIs, there is need of KPIs in marketing, but do you think that sometimes the there is an over-reliance on KPIs in marketing, especially online marketing? What do you think?
Yeah, to be honest, it obviously is a trend that there is online marketing and the high reliance of data science now being moved into the marketing segment, and there are many agencies and marketing agencies telling you how to do it better, and it can always be improved, and you have to do it differently, and you have to use different channels, and then they show you these nice metrics behind it, how it can be improved. To be honest, I have to say, even we have most of the time we have to do with offline marketing, and there it really is not a science how the KPIs are calculated. It's rough estimates, or it's studies being done 3 to 4 years ago, what the audience could be looking like, or who is your target customer. So for us, it was, we had one trend, or here in Germany, one trend in marketing that we did not want to tap into. It's like the personalization, because we think it's going into a direction that needs to be guided a little bit more. So as we had like these scandals with Cambridge Analytica, like psychographic targeting and stuff like this. So this is the direction we did not want to be associated with when we developed our idea. But we also wanted to, on the other side, offline marketing, which is really, it's grounded in numbers that have to be adjusted and have to be validated. So we wanted to strike the right balance between being transparent in our marketing approach, without tapping into like the personal sphere of a shopper that is inside of the store. But coming back to your question with the KPIs, it either is a too high reliance on KPI, I have to say, and then the creativity gets lost, or it is just gut feeling. So we are talking to many marketing officers that highly rely on their gut feeling, which most of the time was successful for them, and it's then hard to sort of introduce new aspects that could work. But it's always fun to discuss with them, with our clients, how they can improve and where we can find actionable insights with the marketing campaigns. So yeah, it's to be honest, I think we have to be grounded in data, but not every decision has to be taken just solely based on data. It also has to be true to the brand. It has to be true to yourself. So startups or large corporates, they have to sort of be creative as well, and not just try to optimize the conversion rates and opening rates and stuff like this. So it is a balance, I have to say.
I actually do feel the same. You have to combine KPIs with gut feeling. For example, Google Ads. You may know if you bumped into our website and discovered Startuprad.io. That way, we're using a lot of Google Ads, and actually they suggest like 1,000 possible AdWords, and most of them don't make sense. So you have to make a decision there based on gut feeling, and then you can get back to the KPIs. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. That said, let's take a little walk. Can you tell us how it actually feels? Let's imagine me driving my shopping cart in a Rewe. Actually, what never happens to me is I have something in mind. I need to shop, but basically, my wife says you need to go grocery shopping. I go grocery shopping. Take the shopping cart into the Rewe. Then I open the Bring app, actually also something from Switzerland, and then I realize, oh damn, we need to buy such a lot of stuff, because my wife is happily typing all the stuff we need during the time I need to get by car to the grocery store. So let's imagine a really stressed out Joe just opened his app at the shopping cart and entered the retail store. So what will happen to me? What you guys are actually doing to analyze this?
Yeah, happy to guide you through our customer journey. Well, first of all, you mentioned a really nice point, and this is why personalization in the supermarket doesn't work, because you have a shopping mission and it's your wife's Bring list. But mentioning this, so you have basically, how do we operate? We installed identification devices into shopping devices, so shopping trolleys and so forth. forth. And our system is basically composed of, or our hardware aspect is its screens. So really nice looking screens installed of the shopping aisles. So you basically, where you walk past, where the products are next to you. We have like around 5 to 6 screens inside of stores. And what happens is when you are in front of a screen, like 5 to 6 meters, it identifies not you, Jörn, it identifies the shopping trolley 157, and it defines.
I see. So it doesn't define Joe, but a stressed out guy with a start of a beard who's losing his top hair. And actually, you track this guy and not me personally, right?
Yeah, we don't track you at all. We don't even know that it's male or female or whoever. It's really just about the shopping trolley. And we sort of then define what kind of situation are you in. Is it a Monday morning where you're really stressed out, or is it more of a Friday evening purchase, or is it warm outside? Is it cool outside? Where are you actually inside of the store, and how does it work? And then we define the best ad that is being played to you. And as we are only doing it contact-based, so when you approach, it plays you an ad, we also can add sounds to it. Because normally you have like these loops inside of stores that really annoy you at some point, because it's always the same sound and stuff. And we developed the technology that only is directed to you, and you hear the commercial. So then the sound will direct your eyes to the screen, because away from your app. And so you sort of what happens then, whether you get inspired by the commercial or not, is really up to many factors. This is something we just know. This shopping trolley came in contact, let's say, with a Coca-Cola commercial. Then you continue your shopping journey, and then we know for the next screens you came across a barbecue commercial, and then you came across a yogurt commercial. And then what we do, and this is the beauty of the system, is we combine it at the end when you left the store and you happily bought everything you needed. Then we combine it with your basket. So we basically know, okay, shopping trolley 157 bought Coca-Cola. And then we have a huge data set of evaluating whether it was due to the commercial or not. So this is basically transferring the online logic to the offline segment, where you say like, okay, someone clicked on your commercial, someone went into added a product to your basket, and someone converted. And this is what our customers are brands like Coca-Cola, Barilla, and brands like this, who advertise, who want to reach a certain audience size, and who want to know whether their campaign was effective or not, and why it was effective or not. Normally, we do a lot of A/B testing with campaigns. So you have maybe you have seen the commercial last year with Atze Schröder from Wiesenhof, where they had Reggae-Wurst, which had a hemp flavor, and the other one was a normal one. And they wanted to know which one works better or which one doesn't. And we sort of ran these commercials and tested it, and could base it on real sales. So we really know, okay, what is being sold and what was the conversion rates, and we give them really nice insights. And this is something that is totally new to our customers, or not totally new, but it's something that they only know from online. And as our customers are so-called fast-moving consumer goods, so FMCG clients, so products that you normally buy in supermarkets, they do not normally advertise online. So Procter & Gamble spends $1 billion of marketing sales in Germany alone, and 95% is on TV ads. So you basically have this non-measurable medium, or not as accurately measurable medium TV, and we try to sort of tap into this potential. So we don't see ourselves as an in-store channel and tapping into the in-store media spendings. We see ourselves into tapping into the marketing budgets and sort of making it possible for these clients to know how effective a campaign was or not.
Ha. first I have to say, damn, I'm getting hungry here. Secondly, we may also add again for cultural references, Atze Schröder is a German comedian. So it's a persona. It's an artist name, Atze Schröder. We link the video, the commercial you're referring to down here. Then I have one question and one idea. So basically the question you started with a reference at the beginning, if it's hot or if it's cold. Of course, I buy totally different in winter and in summer, but do have a few degrees Celsius actually, do they make an impact on my shopping behavior?
Yes, they do. So we obviously we have many brands that wanted to know this. We advertised ice cream in winter, which was also a really interesting approach because it was sort of an ice cream brand that wanted to know whether it works or not. And we advertised barbecue sausages, as I just mentioned. And yes, it has a strong impact. So temperature has a strong impact on your purchase behavior, depending obviously on the product category. So we found that obviously for ice cream, for barbecue, but also for other products that it has an opposite effect. So the colder it gets, the better advertisement works. So we normally tell our clients it has obviously you sell more if the weather is good when it comes to sausages, or obviously you sell more when it comes to ice cream, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your advertisement works better, so that you convert more people when it's hot. Because if everybody wants to buy ice cream anyway, you have this baseline that wants to go for it. But then the question is it also then effective to run a campaign or not? And this is like the questions that we try to answer together with them, to sort of say like, okay, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But that's basically where we go. But yes, your shopping behavior is highly dependent on situational factors. So what kind of mood you're in, what time it is a day, and what weekday it is, and where you're actually in the store. And it is also dependent on what kind of marketing impressions you had before. So and this is the beauty of the system. We can sort of also incorporate all TV campaigns and radio marketing measures. We have these, as everybody has the same likelihood to have come in contact with them, and then we sort of tell our clients how effective then to add to a Cyreen campaign was. And this is really nice.
The more you talk, the more questions I have. Let me quickly structure this. Can you answer us in like 2 or 3 questions? How did, just out of pure curiosity, how did this advertisement for the ice cream maker during winter actually go? And did you also see, like in Germany, there is, we still call it winter, but it doesn't get that cold anymore. There are certain types of ice cream you get mostly in winter, which are very delicious, like gingerbread flavor and all that good stuff. Did this have an impact? And then comes my idea that I was referring to like 5 minutes ago.
So basically for the winter campaign, to be honest, it had more of an like the temperature did not have that much of a significance during that period of time. It really was the flavors that spiked, or certain flavors that spiked, cinnamon, obviously, and certain flavors that rather were not as effective. But the thing that Germans most respond to, and in combination with our advertisement as well, and it does not come as a surprise, is discounts. So if something is on discount, you basically sell 200% more, and then it's always the question whether you want to follow up with a campaign. So whether you want to mention the discount or not, because we can like hyper localize our advertisements to sort of have the price mentioned or have it not mentioned, and this is like the best combination in Germany. When you sort of mention today you save 20% on whatsoever that the people people respond the most to it. Also to ice cream, to be honest. So I think as in Germany, Aldi and Lidl and stuff became big, the Germans are prone to be open for discounts the most. I have to say.
That was what I would have guessed, and I would have also made the reference to Aldi and Lidl, two German discounters who are actually active, I think, almost across the world. Of course, you'll find a link in the show notes. That said, when you've been talking, I had an idea, because have you ever thought of making it useful or interactive? What I had in mind is when I get into the shopping cart, I usually have my very hyperactive 14-month-old baby boy in the shopping cart. And I would imagine that I spend much more time in front of an advertisement screen if there's something that keeps my baby boy entertained while I go and fetch something, for example, a dancing comic figure or something. And that added, then as you've been talking, another question comes to mind. Is there different shopping when you do have a kid with you? I assume you're more straight, go this, that, and minimize the time in the grocery store.
Yeah, so basically what the current system that we're applying is screens that hang above you. So the interaction capabilities there are limited, but we can always expand the ecosystem of the system and the product is actually called not Cyreen, that's the company. The product is called CAP, which means Connecting Ad Impressions with Purchase. So it's an acronym for that one. And we can always expand the ecosystem there as we sort of developed everything ourselves. So we don't have like any puzzle pieces that we don't know of. As for your kid and the interaction with the kid, what we definitely do right now is we sort of know which shopping trolleys, as there are special shopping trolleys for toddlers and smaller kids, we identify them and we can sort of target these trolleys as well, or we can also leave out certain commercials. Because one of the only spaces in Germany, like if you want to advertise alcohol and stuff like this, you can sort of then say like, no, we don't advertise it to these groups of people because we don't want to influence someone there. But the interactive capabilities, we are definitely going into R&D in that direction. We are expanding there. So it's a nice input. I really like it, and we can look into this. And yeah, to be honest, for us, how did it come about? Like with the story. For us, it was 2000, like when we started, while our master, we had to sort of get, and this is also why we located here in Germany, we had to get like retailers on board, but we also had to get media agencies on board because we do not normally talk to our clients like Barilla and other brands. They are normally hosted by or guided by media agencies, and these are the people that we work with the most. And these also have really creative ideas and also want to look at the whole customer journey, so not only the store. And this is really interesting for us as well. Yeah.
That is a quote worth to be put on the blog post. We don't usually talk to our clients. Love that. You've been already referring to your location here in Germany. You're not located in Frankfurt, but in Wiesbaden, for everybody who's not from Germany. That is the capital of the state of Hessen, where Frankfurt is located. And since this is sponsored by Invest in Hessen, this interview, what does actually Hessen mean for you, and why did you locate here?
Well, basically, as I'm Swiss, I just came to Frankfurt. Like before Cyreen, I came to Frankfurt on holiday or to meet friends or to fly from Frankfurt because it's cheaper than flying from Zurich. But when it all changed with Cyreen, so we basically, why Hessen, why Wiesbaden? It has several reasons, to be honest. So one reason is, as we found our institutional investor here in Hessen, together with a business angel that's situated in Switzerland. Then we found a strong academic partner here in Hessen, which is the European Business School, that we work with closely as we sort of created an academic board constituting of the European Business School, the University of St. Gallen, and the Babson College in America as well. And this was sort of the reason or the easiness to be close to these partners. And also we had the opportunity to use an office space. So we, together also with a partner, where we have like storage facilities and really nice insured walls, because we have like these huge screens that we had to configure and stuff. So we said like, okay, let's jump on this opportunity to be located in Wiesbaden. Wiesbaden is beautiful. It's actually also located quite nicely to Mainz, which is a student town. So actually, even though I've never been to Wiesbaden before I moved with the office of Cyreen, I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with the region. I fell in love obviously with the white wine that is being produced here as well. As a Swiss, it was unusual to sort of become an immigrant in Germany, but I haven't regretted it since.
That is good to hear. Especially, I like that you mentioned Mainz, because it's my native city, and of course Wiesbaden is very beautiful. They have a lot of towns with a lot of places in the town with very nice, very old villas and places, and they even have a casino there. Whew, that was a long interview. We're running now at 39 minutes. Just want to say, Davide, thank you. It was just a pleasure having you here. Thank you very much, and hope to hear back from you again.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce you guys to Cyreen and what we're doing here. Yeah.
That's all, folks. Find more news, streams, events, and interviews at www.startuprad.io. Remember, sharing is caring.